Welcome back. The Trump administration today asked the Supreme Court to lift a judge's block on deportations under the Alien Enemies Act. The appeals court heard arguments Monday over the Trump administration's use of that Aliens Enemies Act to deport more than 200 alleged migrant gang members. In a 2-1 decision in the U.S. District Court, the court extended his temporary restraining order blocking deportations for another 2 weeks. In an emergency application to the Supreme Court, the Trump administration attorneys wrote that, quote, the district court's orders have rebuffed the president's judgment as how to protect the nation against foreign terrorist organizations. As the State Department revokes hundreds of student visas from immigrants it says are, quote, involved in things like vandalizing universities and creating a ruckus, the effects of the administration's crackdown causing mixed feelings. In Chicago, one restaurant owner has seen business decline as another community member says it is time to take care of our own. Here's ABC's Alex Perez.
Early morning on a cold February day in Chicago, many immigrants here and in cities across the country gathering in parking lots of big box stores, looking and ready for work. For some, without work permits, it's the only option.
¿Por qué lo haces?
We met this man, an immigrant from Colombia, who told me he's been in the U.S. for a year and a half, working to send money to his family. Construction, debris removal, cleaning, anything that pays. President Trump's immigration crackdown impossible to get out of his mind. He says every day he fears he will be deported.
Well, he says under the Biden administration, things were a little bit easier, softer, he said, for people like him, for immigrants, for migrant workers trying to get a job. But when it comes to being under the Trump administration, he says there's complete fear.
In the month since President Trump took office, unpublished figures from the Department of Homeland Security obtained by Reuters show more than 37,000 people have been deported. That's about 20,000 fewer removals than the monthly average during former President Biden's last full year in office. But undocumented immigrants are more fearful than ever.
We do a lot of outreach at day labor hiring sites across the city,
which means overtime work for immigrant advocate Mauricio Huertas with the Latino Union of Chicago. The group works to educate undocumented workers on their rights and protections.
I think our biggest fear is that all of this behavior will be normalized and that it won't be rejected for the un-American and frankly vile rhetoric that it is.
President Trump's border czar Tom Homan said the primary focus will be deporting violent criminals who are here illegally. The enforcement has also led to collateral arrests, apprehension of undocumented immigrants who are not the specific targets of an operation. Chicago restaurant owner Laura Gutierrez says those collateral arrests created an avalanche of fear and anxiety in this community for both those with and without documents. Business at her restaurant plummeting by 55%, she says.
Like this was on Van Buren.
She and other local leaders have created a text thread communicating any ICE activity they come across to their fellow neighbors. Her eatery sits in the heart of Chicago's Little Village, an area known as the Mexican capital of the Midwest.
People are scared of the migra, as we say in Spanish, Latinos.
Which means the immigration
The immigration ordinance. They're scared they're going to be picked up.
This is a new DOJ.